So, in this video, we're going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I've got a little tier list in front of me. And I basically want to take all of you through what I consider to be the best jokers and the worst jokers in Balatro Multiplayer. So, I've been asked quite a lot in my Twitch chat. What jokers do I consider to be good? What builds do I consider to be good in multiplayer? How does it differ to regular Balatro? And so, yeah, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly that. So, basically, going in order, we've got good old Jimbo here. Oh, yeah, I'll take you through my tiers first. We've got Complete Ass, which are jokers that maybe I have an agenda against, or I genuinely believe are just unusable in multiplayer. We've got Very Specific Use. This is ones I consider to be only for very certain situations I consider to be usable, and majority of the time you're going to be skipping on. Got Meh. This might be your very start of the game jokers, help you get through those early blinds, but are not really going to do anything for you. Then we got Okay. Okay is going to be basically the ones where you have to stop to think about it. Okay, this could change my build for the good. So that's okay. Just buy it. As plain as you can see, just buy it. Pretty much, if you see this joker, you have an empty joker slot, you just want to buy it. It's so good for so many different reasons. It might be a very good scoring joker. It might be a very good utility joker. If you have the con and it doesn't put you in debt or whatever, just buy it, you know. Insta take, this is now moving into the jokers where, like, if you see it, you have to take it. Like, if you have either an open joker slot, or if you have jokers that you consider quite bad, instantly take it. And it's very likely to end up in an end game build. And then finally, you've got your goats. This is, if you don't know, goats is greatest of all time. And this is going to be the jokers where these are 100% going in your end game build, and they are just very good, and you must take them at all costs. So, starting off, we've got a little Jimbo here. Jimbo, I'm actually going with Very Specific Use. He's not Complete Ass. People might be like, oh, +4 mult joker, but honestly, in the very early blinds, Jimbo can be very useful, and can help you get through those first couple of antes. Might be able to save you on a hand, and therefore can make you a bit of money. And I'm going to do the same with all of these. You know what, actually, I'll move these slightly above Jimbo. So all of these, like, yeah, your lusties and your gluttonouses, I'm going to put all these in Meh, because they, again, help you get through those early blinds. They're one suit orientated, so it's nice if you need to get through your deck to find some value generators, because you can play cards which aren't this suit and then finally end with a flush to get out. So that's going to be these. I'm not going to lie, some of these lower jokers, I've forgotten the name of them. I can't remember, the Pear joker. So Pear, and this is the mult version, as you can see, with the red mouth. So Pear for, it's a +8 mult for every pair that is played. Meh, again, it's the same thing. Yeah, you know what, Meh is fair. Same with, I think that's Zany, the 3 of a kind. I might actually bring that down, you know. The Zany is harder. All of these standard plus mult jokers are all for early game, and so 3 of a kind maybe is quite difficult to find, whereas pairs are quite easy to find. So I'll have him in Very Specific, have him in Meh. This one is the straights one, and Very Specific Use. Again, for the straights one, straights are quite difficult to find. I'm gonna have this one. No, that's 2 pairs, sorry. 2 pairs I'll have in Meh, and straights will have in Very Specific Use. Flush joker, again, Meh. Just like all of these are just gonna give you a basic flat mult, and are gonna help with those early blinds, but other than that, they're not really gonna do anything. Pear chips joker, Very Specific Use. If you're on plasma, any chips joker like this is going to be very valuable. Other than that, like, and again, it might help you get through the big blind and first boss blind of the ante, but after that, it's going to just not be helpful. Same here, same here, same here. I consider the chips ones a lot worse than the mult ones initially. just because the malt will offer more scoring unless you're on plasma. That's pretty much it. Half Joker, meh, same job as these. It's easier to utilize a half Joker than it is these. So again, very good for getting through those early blinds, but other than that, it's not going to be very helpful. Joker Stencil, I'm going to go for very specific use. There is very, very, very rare occasions where a Joker Stencil is very good. Pretty much maybe for the first PvP, if you get to the second ante, you haven't played the first PvP yet, and you find a Joker Stencil and you have like 3 open slots. That's a great 3x. Other than that, you're not going to be wanting to use a Joker Stencil. It's just not viable. Jokers are too important, and having those Jokers wasted in slots is just not going to be very helpful. Gonna go the same for Four Fingers. Can be useful as a utility Joker to allow for other things, but the only time I would ever really consider buying a Four Fingers personally, this might be wrong, and can be better on higher stakes, but personally, Four Fingers, the only time I'm ever going to really use it is if I have a Seance. So Seance is a Joker that will create a spectral card if you can play a straight flush. Four Fingers is helpful for that because straight flushes are difficult to find, and so that's the only real time I'll play a Four Fingers. Maybe again, this is drawing the line at very, very specific use, as I said. Maybe if I have a card shop, again, it's the first PvP, I've got a Four Fingers, a card shop might be helpful because I can play 2 flushes or 2 straights, but I think Four Fingers ultimately is very specific use. Let's move on. I will move these down. Let's go credit card. Again, very specific use for credit card. I think, actually, you know what? I'll go up here and just buy it for credit card. I think credit card is one of those things where if you see it, you buy it. If you have an open slot and you see a credit card, you always buy it no matter what. You might not always want a credit card because like you're not going to sell something, like for some reason, like for example, like all the other value generators such as Egg, Faceless, Chaos the Clown, all of these is going to be more valuable than a credit card. But if you see a credit card, just buy it because you can sell it. It costs $1. You can sell it for $1, and then if you're in that position where you have $3 and you go into the big blind, and then you see a blueprint in the next shop because of interest, because of things, you end up only getting $7, and therefore you can't afford the blueprint. You're going to really wish you bought the credit card. So the credit card, just buy it. Complete ass, I think, for the dagger. I don't think I've ever played a Balatro multiplayer PvP game where I've took a dagger. It is just too bad, you know, it's just not very good. Never really used a dagger. Jokers are too important. Money is too important. So I think just skip on a dagger. Banner, very specific use, I think. Again, plasma is great because it's a lot of scoring. Other than that, it will help you get through the big blind and the boss first boss, and it's some scoring at the start. It's not a very good Joker in Balatro multiplayer because I think using discards is too important. You want to find those value generators in your deck, and so the banner is just not going to be good for that. Mystic Summit, I will go okay. For me, it's better than all these. The reason why I think it's better than all these is because it's toggleable mult. And the reason what makes this so great is if you have a purple seal deep in your deck, you have a gold seal deep in your deck, you have a gold card deep in your deck, Mystic Summit only triggers the plus 15 mult when you've used all your discards, so it allows you to get deeper in your deck without winning too early. So again, it's one of those Jokers that's like only going to be used at the very beginning of the game. Like it's going to die off and you're going to find something better than it very quickly, but it is very useful for when you want to find those value generators that are deep in your deck and you're scared of winning too early. So yeah, Mystic Summit goes up there. Marble Joker, complete ass. Just creates too much deck flow. Like stone cards are just not useful in Balatro multiplayer. They're just not. Like they're out. You might, again, someone might argue, oh no, a stone card is very helpful if you're playing a 4 of a kind, and you can chad on a stone card to give you extra chips, blah blah blah. You don't want Marble Joker. It's just gonna bloat your deck, and finding those cards that you need to score the most possible each PvP blind is too important. Loyalty card, okay, so okay, because you have to think about it. The reason why it's not just buy it is because, one, it's quite expensive. I would probably use a loyalty card and get more use out of it than a credit card. But credit cards, and just buy it because there's no downside to buying it if you have an open Joker slot. If you find this just before a PvP and you haven't got 6 hands, then it's pointless, right? Because you literally can't use it in the PvP, and then you're probably not, you can then use it the next PvP, but a lot of the time you might find something better than a 4x in that time. So loyalty card, it's very useful, and I think a very underrated Joker, actually, loyalty card. I think more people should buy it, because 4x is 4x. There's not many Jokers that give 4x, and if you can play your hands correctly around loyalty card, it will win you PvPs. I would argue maybe the first 2 PvPs, 3 PvPs, loyalty card is very much going to be helpful. On higher stakes, it might be helpful for the entire game, you know? So loyalty card, I've got it in okay, but it's very, very good. But it just takes some thought. It's not one of those very, 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 very good Jokers. 8-ball. I love 8-ball. I really like 8-ball. I try and take it a lot. I'm going to go just buy it, I think. This makes me think maybe Mystic Summit should come down to Meh. I'm going to go Meh for Mystic Summit, but maybe the top, like this. I think that's how I would order them. I will move this down because loyalty card just is way, way better than a Mystic Summit. So I feel a bit rude putting it there. 8-ball. 8-ball. For me, if I see an 8-ball, chances are I'm buying it, especially early game. The amount, Tarot Gen is arguably the most important thing in multiplayer Balatro, alongside Money Gen. And because deck fixing is so important, you've got to be thinking long term. You've got to be thinking about the idols. You've got to be it's just provides so much value, like lucky cards, gold cards, just so many things that you can do with your deck. It provides money, so hermits, temperances. If you mix in a retrigger with an 8-ball, it just makes it 10 times better. So if you get a hanging Chad, which is also a common Joker, you play a pair of 8s with a hanging Chad, your EV is 1 tarot, and that is just incredibly powerful. Then you mix in other things like a dice, for example. If you end up getting an oops all 6s, it just makes 8-ball even better. I just think Tarot Gen is so important. It adds so much value. You can get deaths to make more of your best card. You can get temperances. You can get hermits. Yeah, 8-ball's just gonna offer so much value. Misprint. I'm gonna go Meh, and I'm gonna put it here because am I? I'm gonna put it here. I think the specific suit Jokers are probably a bit better because, again, they're toggleable, plus more, they're more consistent. Misprint could kill you, you know, if you literally relying on misprint as your only scoring. You could die to blinds because of it, because it might just hit +0 every time. You've got to be very unlucky for that to happen, but it could happen, so it's got to be something you're thinking about. So yeah, misprint is a Meh Joker. It's useful for the early game, but is just not gonna be. It's not gonna move the needle, basically. Dusk. I would have waited to go Dusk, but Dusk is obviously one of the GOATs. Dusk, it is arguably the top 5 best Jokers in multiplayer Balatro. Retriggering is so strong just for many reasons. It helps with scoring. So if you have an idol, you have an ancient, you have a photograph, all of these X-Mult Jokers that you can use Dusk with are just improved immediately with a Dusk. It's also great value gen. If you have lucky cards, you have gold seals, it's going to give you so much money as well. So yeah, Dusk, one of the GOATs, definitely end game material. It's even like Onk material. It's even Invis material. Dusk a lot of the time can be your best Joker in your lineup, and should definitely be an insta take whenever you see it. Raised Fist, I'm going to go okay, actually. Raised Fist, I think, is a lot better than these other flat malt jokers. I think it's extremely powerful in, like, high card builds. So if you have Mime and Steel in the deck, you can use a Raised Fist to get you a lot of early plus malt before the Steel kicks in. So what you can do with Raised Fist is if you have Steel in your hand, you can play whatever you're playing, and then Raised Fist will trigger the first, like the lowest card for the amount of malt will double what it's worth. So if you have an 8, this will trigger plus 16 malt. What you can do on high card builds is you can move this Raised Fist before the Steel, and it will trigger before the Steel does. So it's such an OP way to get early malt before your Steel, and it can result in really, really high scores. It's one of those, rarely is it going to end up in your endgame build, rarely, but it can happen in those situations where you want on those high card builds, because it's actually a valid score in Mechanism, more so than all of the jokers below it, in my opinion. Yeah, Raised Fist goes in okay. Fibonacci, very, very strong joker. Okay, I think. Super strong. Mixed in with a retrigger, even more strong. So if you're playing first maybe 2 PvPs, 3 PvP, like depending on what stake you are, Fibonacci could go to the end if you're on like gold stake, but if you're on white stake, very useful for at least 2 PvPs in my opinion. You can flush house with it. Say if you get a photograph and a chat, it's super useful, because if you play a flush house of 8s and face cards, you can trigger the Fibonacci first and then trigger the face card second, and then it just exponentially it increases your score by so much. So for that reason, yeah, Fibonacci, very strong score in Joker. You should buy it if you've got open slots. It can be very strong. I'll leave it here for now. We might have a rearrange it towards the end. Chaos the Clown, very much the definition of a just buy it. If you have an open Joker slot, it's a non-negotiable taking of Chaos the Clown, unless you're broke. Unless you literally have $4 in the bank, and this puts you down to 0. You don't want to then take the roll because you're scared of what the roll might have, because if it has something really good, then you're not going to be able to buy it. Other than that, Chaos Clown is so useful. Like one free roll every ante is or every shop, sorry, is just so strong. And although you might think, oh, basic shop is $5, so all it is a $5 Joker, Chaos the Clown, it exponentially increases. So the more rolls you take in a shop, the value of your last roll is actually what you're saving with a Chaos the Clown, because the shops get increasingly more expensive per roll. So if you are loaded with money, but you don't really have any good jokers, like you might have got like a lot of value gen, but you haven't got any very, very good scoring jokers. If you get Chaos the Clown and you manage to roll like 10 times, that's actually saving you that many, like $10 worth of rolls, or $14, like whatever the value of your last roll is what Chaos the Clown is saving you. So yeah, just buy it. If you see it, if you have an open slot, you have money, just buy Chaos the Clown. It's always going to be good. Steel Joker, meh. I think can be good. Like if you have a bunch of steel, like it might be a free 2x. If you have 5 steel in your deck, it might be a free 3x if you have how many 10 steel in your deck. But for me, Steel Joker is never going to be like a game changer in PvP Balatro, because it's rare that if you're in a position where you've got that many steel cards, chances are 3x is not going to do that much for your scoring regardless. So yeah, meh for Steel Joker. Can be useful just to get some extra time smalt, but not really going to be a game changer. Scary Face, I will go with okay. I think it is one of those jokers where early game it's fantastic. It's a very easy way to get out of blinds, and you combine that with any sort of flat malt. Working towards face cards is kind of what you're going to do in PvP Balatro. If you go in a Spectral and you find a gold seal, you want to put that on a face card, therefore you're encouraging to play that face card. So it's useful because chances are you want to be playing your face cards, and it's also useful because it's actually just good scoring. Mix this in with a basic malt joker and you're getting through the blinds easy. Abstract, meh. Probably go above half joker, below Mystic Summit. Again, just one of those plus malt jokers. I might put it below halfsies actually, just because Abstract can hinder you. If you are playing and you want to try and get deeper in your deck, as I've previously mentioned, Abstract might allow you to score too much. If you haven't, for example, if you have a Chips Joker as well as Abstract, you're going to get through that blind immediately, and therefore won't allow you to get further in your deck, which you might want to do. So Abstract, it's good for getting through early blinds, trust me, but it can actually hinder your game if you're trying to get deep in your deck. Delayed Grat, meh, for sure. It's econ. The reason why it's not, it could go in very specific use, but no, I'll leave it in meh. I'll leave it in meh just because it's econ, and econ is super valuable. There's a lot of situations where you won't want a delayed Grat though. Again, it doesn't let you get deeper in your deck, and it's so important. Not being able to use your discards, that can actually cost you so much value. Like if you have gold cards in the bottom of your deck, or if you have purple seals, or if you have anything of value in your deck, with a delayed Grat, this gives you a much higher chance of not finding that important stuff. But it is econ, and that's why I've got it in there. Like if you're in anti-1 and this is in your first Buffoon pack, you might want to take it just because you should be able to get through the big blind without using discards, hopefully. Hack, just buy it, I think. Face cards is rewarding to build into, so a lot of the time you are building into face cards, but a hack can be very useful if you have that glass, or if you have an ancient joker, or if you have an idol. So just like the Dusk, re-triggering cards is super powerful. Like if you have lucky cards, it can make you money. If you have gold cards with a golden ticket, it can make you money. If you have an idol, it's great scoring. If you have an ancient, it's great scoring. But the problem is, like, there's so many easier synergies with face cards that often hack isn't the play. Now, there is definitely a lot of situations where it's worth it, and the reason why it's in the just buy it, like if you have an empty joker slot, because it can be value gen as well with the luckies. But like there are times where it's the end game build, but it's way more rare than a Dusk is, for example. That's why it's not higher. Pareidolia, very specific use for sure. It's a facilitating joker. It's a value generation joker. So what Pareidolia does is any card in your deck is considered a face card. And like just as we spoke about hack, you might be like, oh, so if you get Pareidolia with hack, then you can get all those joker synergies you just spoke about. Yes, but that costs you a joker slot. So combined with hack, Pareidolia can be very, very powerful. But because it costs a joker slot, that is the biggest issue with it. Pareidolia, the way I would say is valuable is you find a faceless joker. Pareidolia faceless is so much money. Same thing with a reserve parking. If you find a reserve parking with a Pareidolia, so much money. But other than that, it's rare that a Pareidolia is going to be game changing. On the off chance you find a Red Seal 2 glass card in a standard pack, Pareidolia is very rarely going to be in your endgame build, and that's why I've got it in very specific use. Gross Michelle, meh. Maybe just above Abstract and Half's Joker, just because it has the ability to turn into that 3x, what is it called, Cavendish. Odd Todd, meh, but like top of meh. I think it is very good. Odd Todd, combine that with one of your Mult Jokers and actually can result in a lot of scoring for your first PvP, and Odd Todd can actually be the difference if you have Mult to go alongside it. So if you have like a Chad, for example, you can Chad an odd card and it can provide so much scoring it mixed with one of these Mult Jokers. I think Even Steven is worse than Odd Todd. I think there's more uses for Odd Todd than there is Even Steven. So I'm going to have it Even Steven down, but again, it's useful, get you through the early blinds, and you get to choose whether it triggers. So this is only for even cards, this is only for odd cards, and yeah, just gives you that early Mult or chips to get through the early blinds. Scholar up here. I like Scholar. Scholar is very useful. It gives chips and Mult, so often can be used in that early PvP. Very rarely going to get you anywhere. It's not going to move the needle, but can get you through the early blinds and could contribute to an early PvP. Business card, Insta Take. One of the best econ jokers in the game is Business card. This is just going to make you so much money at the end of a round, so it's an insta take and often will be with you for a long time, unless either a better econ joker comes up or your joker slots are complete with the best jokers you're looking for. Supernova, very specific use, maybe even it costs so much to scale it, and it can only scale to such a low ceiling as well. So in the early rounds, if you spend loads of time scaling a Supernova, you are going to lose out on so much money from using all those hands where you don't need to, and that's just going to cost you. You can't get further in the shop to find those better jokers. Space Joker, meh. I think meh. A lot of the time you're going for those flush fives, 5 of a kind, 4 of a kind hands. You're going to try and play as many cards in your hand as possible. The reason why Space Joker isn't that good is because you can't really scale it that well, because a lot of the time if you're playing a flush 5, that's going to win you your blind. If you play a 4 of a kind, if you're playing it with valuable cards, that's going to win the blind. And so the only real reason why a Space Joker, in my opinion, is good is if you're playing high card. Like if you're playing high card, you can get lots of high cards off, and you can scale and you can get those levels up and you can use it for a while. But ultimately, Space Joker, it's very good in normal Balatro, because in normal Balatro, like you might be playing pairs a lot, and that is how you're winning in gold, like gold stake, for example, and it can increase that level. But in PvP Balatro, I just don't think a Space Joker is going to move the needle for you whatsoever. Egg is a just buy it. It's always worth buying an egg because it pays for itself as soon as you are into the next ante, so or next shop, sorry. Even if you were only to scale it once, you'll get your money back. After that, it's only pure profit. And the amount of times where I've had tarot generation alongside an egg, it's just so OP. Burglar, it is specific. It is a very specific use for a burglar, but I'm gonna have it in meh because it's also money. So if you're very early in the game and you find a burglar, it gives you extra hands. If you get out of that blind with discards remaining, you don't get money for that, but if you get out of the blind with hands remaining, you do get money for that, and that's why a burglar is, in my opinion, meh. Again, there are specific uses where actually the 7 hands are extremely valuable other than just the money, and that is, for example, if you have a vagabond, you can play more hands and therefore get more tarots out of it. Or as a reserve parking, you can play more hands and you can get more value out of your reserve parking, for example. But other than that, it's not going to move the needle, and it's not going to be one of those jokers that's really going to score you a lot or be really very valuable for what you're doing. Runner, I'm going to have this in very specific use for a runner. On Plasma, runner can be great. You can scale a runner, and it can be very good scoring, and it can actually be a joker that you're going to want. But ultimately, a runner, I'm passing on it 95% of the time. I don't think it's a very good joker. Ice Cream, meh, but it's good meh. I like Ice Cream. If your goal is just to get through the next blind quickly, so to make as much money from your hands as possible, then it's good. And also on Plasma, again, it's just going to be amazing scoring on Plasma. DNA. DNA is one of the most bait jokers in Balatro. It's so bait so much of the time. I'll pull it in insta-take, but it can be bait. Like, you see an early DNA and you're like, oh, DNA, amazing. But it can cost you so much if you're using all your discards to find one specific card to be able to DNA it. And if you don't find that card, then you've wasted all your discards. And say you have 2 purple seals deep in your deck, then you're not going to be able to use those purples. So DNA can be very expensive and can cost you a lot. But it's an insta-take because if you do have that one card, if you do have a red seal Steel King and you're playing high card, it's going to be just incredible scoring. If you do have a polychrome red seal that you just got out of a pack, you're going to want to try and copy it as many times as possible, and that is your goal for that game. So if you do find that one card in a standard pack that is going to change the game forever, and that is going to be your goal to move towards it, then you have to take it. And therefore, and same with Idol, it's also great if you have a blueprint, it makes DNA infinitely better. If you have a copy Joker, a blueprint, or a brainstorm, DNA is so much better just because you get 2 of those cards for each time you trigger it. So yeah, great for preparing for an Idol. Really OP when you have it with a blueprint or brainstorm, but can be very bait, and that's why it's not a go, and that's why I was considering and having it in just buy it, because it can be very bait and can be costly as well. Splash. It's either complete ass or it's I'm gonna have it in very specific use because it's by definition very specific use. It's not complete ass because I don't think it hurts your game. I think these ones, actually using them will hurt your game. Splash doesn't, and its very specific use is if you have a gold seal in your deck and you have to play it, but you also can't really play it with anything else. It's good because you can just shove it with a bunch of random cards and it will trigger. But other than that, Splash you're just not going to need. Like, again, if you have a gold seal or if you have a gold card with golden ticket, fine. Other than that, it's not going to move the needle really. Blue Joker, meh for sure. It is meh. Again, the big issue is similar to all of these Jokers. This isn't toggleable chips, but it's going to get you through the early blind. So yeah, Blue Joker, basic chips Joker, yeah, not going to do much for your game. Sixth Sense insta-take. Just like DNA can be bait, because if you don't draw those 6s, it could be punishing and it can damage your game. But spectral cards are so OP. Like if you find a Deja Vu and you haven't found a red seal yet, or if you have found a red seal but it's not on a face card, Deja Vu's end game is game winning. Cryptid can be game winning. Immolates can be game winning. Just so many important spectrals that if you don't take a Sixth Sense, you could just lose the game there on the spot. Constellation, complete ass. Constellation is complete ass. I'm gonna have it below Supernova as well. It's so bad. Like, scaling X-Malt Jokers like this, which is going to cost you so much money, is just not ever going to amount to enough scoring in PvP Balatro to warrant keeping. People might say, oh, what if I have like a blue seal with a blueprint mime? If you have a blueprint mime, chances are the tiny bit of X-Malt that a Constellation is going to give you is not going to amount to enough score to make the difference in the game. It costs too much. You will be tempted to buy random planet cards in the shop just to scale it, and you might even see it in a shop one and you're like, oh, you know what, by PvP this might be PvP winning Joker. You're not going to use 10 planet cards before you get to the first PvP to even make it into a 2x. So no, Constellation, skip it. If you see it, skip it. It's just not worth your time at all. Hiker, it's very specific use for sure. I think it's better than these Jokers because it can have a impact on your good cards and therefore is permanent, whereas all these Jokers are going to go. But with all these Jokers, these are getting you through the early blinds. A Hiker, by the time you need a Hiker to make a difference in your end build, chances are you're no longer going to have a Hiker anymore because you're too far gone in the game. So yeah, I'm going to have it very specific use for a Hiker. On Plasma, if you play all those face cards, it increases the chips, can have a very lasting impression. Even on normal, just if you play all your face cards and then your face cards are what you're going to work your way into in the long term, it adds permanent value to those face cards, and that's why it's good. But it doesn't get you through blinds. It's costly to some extent because you have to look for those cards to increase the Hiker value on them. Like, Hiker's fine, and I have no problem taking it early to try and increase those chips on those base cards of yours, but ultimately I think it's quite rare that a Hiker makes a difference. Seance, very good. As I said with the Sixth Sense, Spectral Gen is goated, but it's difficult to find straight flushes. Like if you find it early on, chances are you're going to need a suit changer to be able to draw a straight flush because they're just hard to draw. If you come across a Seance, you're like, okay, what Jokers have I got? Okay, I have an open Joker slot. If you have an open Joker slot, you buy it. If you don't have an open Joker slot, look at what you've got in the deck and you say, can I pull off straight flushes? is this more valuable than something else you've got? And it's definitely one you need to consider, because Spectral, again, as I said, unless you're on Ghost deck where Spectrals are in the shop, it's just gonna be game winning. Mime, I'm putting it in the goats. I'm putting it in the goats for Mime. Mime is incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. High card is real. I'm one to favor re-triggers over high card 95% of the time. The amount of times I've lost because of that is actually also insane. High card is real. Steel is real. Gold cards are real. And so with Mime, it's just a take. Like, if you have an open Joker slot, like, that might be the last thing to go. Like, there are very few Jokers that are gonna outcompete a Mime, unless you've got like the perfect re-trigger setup. So Mime, it is one of the goats. It allows for high card to work. It's actually required for high card to work. And if you mix that in with a blueprint, and maybe an invis, it scales so well. And it's only fitting. I will put Baron next to him in the goats. Again, I am definitely a favor of re-triggers, but this combo, like, the only reason why high card isn't real, and a lot of people will say it's never high card, is because finding both of these Jokers is incredibly difficult, whereas finding re-trig Jokers is a lot easier. But if you find these two Jokers and then you mix in a blueprint with it, it's going to win most of the time against your re-trigger build. It just is. Most of the time it's going to win. Faceless, just buy it. I'm gonna have it above Chaos the Clown as well. $5 for discarding face cards is a lot of money, and also, as we keep saying, building into face cards is what you're gonna do, and therefore chances are, if you find a faceless, even mid game, you have probably built into those face cards, so you have more of those in your deck, so it finds making those faceless pots more valuable. So yeah, just buy it. It's very good. One proc on faceless around pays for it. So if you see it and you have an open slot, you just buy it, and you need one proc for it to pay for itself. So yeah, faceless, incredibly valuable. Reserved, okay. I think early game reserve parking is very good. It gets you that money, but ultimately and if you combine it with a Mime, then it's even more money. But reserve parking, it's not going to give you on average as much as a faceless is, in my opinion. So it has to be a tier below. It's one of those early game econ Jokers that is very valuable, but it's not going to be with you for a long time. It's just not, because the amount of money you make from a parking is just not enough. And it also requires you holding a lot of cards to make it worth it when you want to get deeper in your deck to find the purples and things. So you might want to discard those face cards, but then the reserve parking might deter you from discarding those face cards because you're trying to get value from it. So I think it's worse than Egg. I think it's worse than Faceless, but it is a econ and it is very good. Card Sharp, very specific use, I think, for Card Sharp. It's 3x and 3x is 3x. A lot of the time, your best hand is going to be the only hand of that type that you play. So for the first PvP, a lot of the time, I will be looking for a flush house to win that first PvP. And your chances of you finding 2 flush houses are just so low. If you're playing into high card, 3x on top of your high card build is very good. If you're into a first PvP, 3x on top of your second flush is fine as well. Green Joker, same as Ride the Bus, same as Supernova. It's a scalable plus Multi Joker, and by the time that you scale it, it's going to cost you too much money to scale. And like, very rarely on Gold Stake, a Green Joker can be useful because you find the worst seed in the world and you need it to survive. But ultimately, it's going to cost you too much money to scale because you're wasting those hands. And early on in the game, you want to keep those hands to be able to scale it. So yeah, I'm having it in complete ass. Superposition is okay, in my opinion. It's good because Tower Gen is so powerful, especially early on. You just have to take it if you have a slot open very early on in the game. Playing towards straights can be difficult, especially when it's an ace and a straight, but you will often be able to find that one straight in the big blind. If you find it as like after the small blind shop, you'll be able to find that first trait, which will get you a tarot. And if that has a magician in it, or if it has a hermit in it, or if it has a temperance in it, mate, sometimes it can just be very, very, very rewarding. So yeah, Cavendish, just buy it. I think 3x is 3x, and so 3x unconditional 3x is very powerful. Like, and I might put the other Joker alongside that, which is very similar to you, which is Acrobat. Fucking dumbass. Acrobat, insanely powerful, because 3x is very good, and a lot of the time, especially on higher stakes, you're not going to find better than 3x, and 3x can end up in your endgame builds. Like, it can end up here, but it's in just buy it. You can't argue with 3x, but ultimately, especially on white stake, it's not going to end up in your endgame builds, but it is still very good. To-do list, if you find an early to-do kit list on high card or on pairs, it is so much money. So say if you have 4 hands or 5 hands, that can make you, like, you get 4 hands worth of pairs or 4 hands worth of high cards, and then play a flush or something to get out. Or if you have it with a base milk Joker, you might even be able to get away with 5 complete high cards or pairs. A to-do list, there is a little bit more thinking to do. If you get a to-do list that's on 5 of a kind, are you going to buy it? Probably not. Or if it's on 4 of a kind, you might get 1 proc out of it for $4. It's fine. But if you get a to-do list which is on a pair or on a high card, like, it can be very strong. Madness, very specific use, and this is literally the definition of very specific uses of madness. If you are on gold stake and you have a madness early, you can take the risk to buy it in the hopes that the jokers that you find are Eternals, and then it can be very strong. Like, you might be able to get to the end of the game with it with like 7x on your madness. Other than that, you're never going to use it. So for that reason, I might have it lower. I might have it like down here. Also, and scaling X-Malt has a ceiling as well. So like a lot of these jokers, scaling X-Malt, it does have a ceiling and can only take you so far. Red card, complete ass. Just like green, just like stop the bus, or ride the bus. It's just not going to be good. This is a gold stake vanilla Balatro Joker. Like, red card, there's too much value in booster packs to skip things. Like, you don't want to be skipping on Arcana packs ever, really. You don't want to be skipping on standard packs if there's a good card in it. You don't want to be skipping on celestial packs ever, really. So it's costing you value is a red card, so just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. And you know what, Square Joker, I'm gonna have incomplete ass as well. I think Square Joker is better than these ones because it's scalable chips, not that useful, but on plasma could be useful. But yeah, complete ass, don't bother using it. Like, it's not going to be in your endgame build, it's probably not going to win you a PvP. Yeah, just leave it alone. Blackboard, okay, it's, in my opinion, it's on par with Loyalty Card. Loyalty Card probably a little bit better because it's just 4x right instead of 3, but Blackboard is probably easier to get online because if you just have like a world card up top, you can wield the rest of those red cards, and can get 3x from that. 3x can be the difference from winning early PvPs, can even be the difference to winning late PvPs in higher stakes. So yeah, Blackboard, think about it, it's very useful. You have to do a little bit of deck fixing to get online, so yeah, it goes in okay, but it is very powerful. Riff Raff, insta take, or probably just buy it, I think, but it's like it's very strong. Riff Raff, if you find a Riff Raff shot 1, you are absolutely laughing. Riff Raff is so strong. You can't get a perishable Joker, you can't get a rental Joker from a Riff Raff, so on gold stake it's even more powerful. But even on white stake, Riff Raff, you get an early Riff Raff, it's econ, like you can sell the Jokers you get from it, but it's also just, if you get a photo Chad, or if you get a rebate, or if you get a business card, like, it's just insanely overpowered. Obviously, the biggest downside to Riff Raff is 1, it takes up a Joker slot itself, and 2, you then need to leave 2 empty Joker slots for it as well to be able to get maximum value out of it. But it's just valuable. Like you sell the Jokers from it, it's money. Or you get something really good from it, and then it's done its work, you know. Vampire, complete ass again. Again, you could argue like, oh, but what if you have a Midas mask with it, and therefore you can scale the vampire so well? It's such a good synergy. On gold stake, yeah, brilliant synergy and can give you X mult. But what are the chances of you finding them together? And also, what is the chances of that being the best scoring option for you? And also, you're not getting value from your gold cards with it that way as well. So you're actually losing a lot of gold value from not holding those gold cards because you're scaling a vampire, which ultimately probably isn't going to end up in your endgame build. So stay away from vampire. I think I've probably played 1 game ever, maybe, with a vampire in my Joker lineup. I don't ever really remember taking it, so just stay away from it. Simple as that. Shortcut, I'm putting it right next to Four Fingers because it's exactly the same. The reason why you might use a shortcut is to get the value out of Seance, just like a Four Fingers. Also, gold stake, terrible seeds. The Four Fingers shortcut, straight flush build is possible and actually can win you games, but it's very, 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 very specific to those scenarios, and chances are in most of your games a shortcut isn't going to be necessary, and also costs a lot to buy as well. So unless, like, on the rare occasions maybe you have a to-do list and it's on straights, or if you have a seance and you're trying to get multiple seance procs, it's probably not going to be useful for you. Hologram is going right next to Constellation. It's a little bit better. Constellation is way worse than this guy, in my opinion, just because than the Hologram. Because Hologram you can scale with maybe like a certificate, and it scales quicker than a Constellation. And like if you have a certificate, like you can get some, like you might have it for 4 rounds and have a certificate for 4, 5, 6 rounds, and this is scaling a hologram quite well. But it is very, very rare that a hologram is going to be useful. I don't think I've ever had a PvP game where I've had a hologram and it's ended up being like the difference. So I'm gonna have it in complete ass because it just, deck bloat is hard as well. Like you don't want to be going into standard packs and taking like a random ace, because it's deck bloat. If you like, causes you to lose a lot of PvPs. If you have too many cards in your deck and you can't get to the bottom of your deck, you're gonna lose PvPs because of it. So I'm having it in complete ass. Vagabond can be game winning. Combine it with a copy Joker, it's so OP. But I wouldn't have it as an insta take because it depends on your deck already. Obviously, like if you have a deck that's already well fixed, why would you need a Vagabond? But early game, Vagabond is going to offer so much value. It's also easy to mess up, which is tricky for newer players. Vagabond is a hard Joker to use. You have to get below that $4 before going into the next round, and you need to stay below that $4 as well. So you have to use all of the tarots that you're getting in order to get more procs. So because it's difficult, it can cause you to die if you're a new player. I've got it in a just buy it, but it can be game winning at Vagabond. Like if you get like 2 deaths and you have a Polychrome Red Seal, like it will win you the game based on that. But I've got it in just buy it. Cloud9, meh. It's money and it's better than delayed grab because you don't need to waste discards. Like if you get a Cloud9 very early in the game, it's $4 is $4, isn't it? You're never really going to play into a Cloud9 because 9s, you don't really get anything other than that. Like you're not going to be playing into a Cloud9 like to try and deck fix for your 9s to try and increase that. It's never worth it to do that. But money is money, you know. Rocket, I'm going to have it next to it, but maybe slightly worse than Cloud9 just because, again, Rocket, you have to increase it. It's anti-based increasing, so it's slow to increase. So by the time that you actually get to where a Rocket is better than a Cloud9, maybe you've already replaced the Rocket with a better econ gen or a better value gen or with a better scoring Joker. So Rocket is a meh, and very rarely is great. Like on higher stakes is better because Jokers are more difficult to come by, but not great. Obelisk. I don't like Obelisk. It's difficult to use. It can lose you so many games because you're trying to not kill an Obelisk, and you could lose lives to blinds because of it. But you can't argue with it because it can be game winning, especially on higher stakes. Like times 0.2 malt for every hand played that isn't your most played hand can be very good. Like say if you're on checkered deck and you have played 20 flushes and then you've come across an Obelisk, that is a brilliant Obelisk because you can just play high cards or pairs for as long as you possibly want, and you're never going to kill the Obelisk, and it's going to scale very well. But if you find it very early on, you just can't take it because you haven't played enough hands in order to keep it alive. So I'm going to go okay for Obelisk. It's one of those things. You have to think about it. It can scale very quickly and be better than like a blackboard, for example. But it's difficult to play around. And it's awkward, and it can kill you, and it can die, and therefore you just lose the game. Or it might cost you value, like looking for other cards in your deck when you're trying to play different types of hands. Yeah, going for it okay for Obelisk. Midas Mask is just buy it, as just like Vagabond. I'm gonna have it slightly worse than Vagabond, but Midas Mask is OP, man. If you get a Midas Mask early on, it is one of the best econ value generators in the game. Being able to convert all of those face cards into gold cards, combine that with a Pareidolia, that's one of those things I didn't mention. You can just get a whole deck full of gold cards, and it's just money. You know, money is so important. And yeah, Midas Mask, very good. You find a golden ticket, makes it even better. Your gold cards early on are so powerful. So yeah, just buy it if you have it. It might even be insta take, you know, like if you haven't, if you haven't opened Joker's, like it is an insta take. So yeah, I'll have it in just buy it. But yeah, Photograph is an insta take, arguably a goat. So Photograph on its own, pretty bad. Only a 2x when you play a face card, but combined with other elements, Photograph can be incredibly strong. Combine it with a retrigger like a Hanging Chad. On ranked, it's different. Or it's even better on vanilla, but on ranked, with a Hanging Chad, it is 4x because it retriggers the first card twice. Combine that with a Dusk, that makes it an 8x. Combine that with a Sock, that makes it 16x. Combine that with a Blueprint, that makes it 32x. Like, it's such a strong Joker. So especially it can be your best scoring option like early on as well. Like if you have a Chad with a photo, and then that could easily be your best scoring. Combine it with a red seal, that's even another trigger. So yeah, Photograph is an insta take, arguably a go. A lot of people would have it in go. I've got it in insta take because I think on higher stakes, Photograph is too difficult sometimes to get online. But I'm always taking it regardless. If I see a Photograph, I'm taking it. Like, there's only a few Jokers that outperform a Photograph in this format. Gift card. I'm going to go here for gift card. Temperance value and adding value to your other Jokers is strong. And gives you permanent value for like if you have very good Jokers early and you find a gift card, it just makes those Jokers valuable forever. So if you find Temperances, it's so strong. Same thing with but even if you don't, even if they are Jokers that you're planning on selling very soon, it makes the sell value of those better. So it just adds value. And then if you find an Arcana pack and it has a Temperance in it, it just makes the Temperance worth more. It's just value gen. It's a lot of money a gift card can have as an impact, and the best part of it is it has an impact even after it dies. So even after you sell the gift card, it's still providing value to your Jokers. So that's why I like gift card quite a lot. Bean, insta take for Bean. I think Bean is such a slept on Joker. Hand size is so valuable for many reasons. It's valuable scoring, it's valuable econ gen. Like, it allows you to find those cards that could provide you money. If you have a mail-in rebate, it allows you to find all of your mail-in rebate cards. It allows you to find all the steel in the world. If you're playing a high card build, or if you're playing a retrigger build but you have loads of steel you need to find, there's a chance it could be in your endgame build, a fresh bean. If you find a fresh bean late, it might be in your endgame. So it's an insta take for sure. Yeah, bean is so OP, and hand size is so slept on. Erosion, actually no, complete ass. I think by the time that you've got enough hangmen out of in your deck to be able to reduce the deck size for an erosion to be worth it, chances are you found better jokers. So erosion is bad, it just is. Plus mult is not good enough past the first like PvP most of the time, and so it's just not going to be good enough, quick enough to make a difference. Mail and rebate, it's a goat. It's a goat. It doesn't end up in your endgame build, obviously, because it's econ, but it will be there for as long as you could possibly keep it. Like, this is the one card where you have, like, if you have a Dusk, a Sock, an Idol, an Ancient, and a Photograph, you're considering selling a photograph for a rebate. You just are. You're in that situation where you come across a rebate in the shop and you have that photograph. You're like, wow, I could sell this rebate. I mean, I could sell this photograph for this rebate, because rebate, it's just so much money. Put a copy joker next to it, it's even more money. Like, the minimum a rebate is a $20 card, but because you start off with 4 of every card in your deck. But what's great about rebate is, just like idol, it goes off of what's mostly in your deck, so it will hit a random card. So if you have a deck with 10 jacks in it, there's a higher chance it will hit jacks because you've got 10 jacks in your deck, and therefore if you can discard 10 jacks, that's $50, you know. It's just so strong. $5 for a rebate for me is so overpowered, and it should be reduced. Like, if it was $4 for rebate, it would be a lot worse, or even $3 would be balanced for me. I think $5 on rebate is too overpowered and it should be nerfed, but ultimately, yeah, it's just too much value. And a rebate, it's often the last thing to leave your joker line for a last bit of scoring before the very last PvP. To the moon, meh. It's gonna go along with all these other meh econ jokers. It can scale, which is nice, but it doesn't scale to very much. Like, by the time it scales to even one rebate proc, it's like probably you've already gotten rid of it. So it's just not a very good econ joker. Yeah, for me it's actually worse than Delayed Grat, I think, because even at the very start you have to scale it. So at the very start of the game, it doesn't offer enough to even worth buying. So yeah, for me, I mean, it might even be like very specific user to the moon. It's never really a usable joker in my opinion. Hallucination, just buy it. It goes alongside these other sort of econ-y tarot gen-y jokers. Hallucination is extremely strong. Mix that in with the dice, mix that in with the blueprint, it's even stronger. Tarot gen is, I don't know what I prefer out of 8-ball or hallucination. Obviously it's build dependent, so if you have a retriggering joker, this makes this go all the way up here. If you don't have a retrigger, hallucination's probably better off rip, because you're averaging maybe 1 proc of a tarot card each round if you can afford to open both booster packs. But yeah, hallucination, strong. Just buy it. If you have an open joker slot, it's never really going to be it's never really not worth it to buy a hallucination. What's your name? Tarot guy. What? I can't remember your name. This is the one where it scales by +1 for every tarot card you use. I can't remember the name of it. If anyone could tell me in the chat, that would be helpful. Meh, I think. I'm having it meh. It's probably bottom of meh, because again, by the time you've used enough tarots for this to be worth anything, it's just probably you've outgrown it already. So if you use like 2 tarots because you had an emperor, and then you can use the 2. Boom, you have +3 mult, and then it can help you in the first blind. But other than that, I'm actually gonna have it very specific. Like, it's just not going to be helpful to you. Like, yes, if you have a lot of tarot gen and then sort of like early-ish game and you find one and then it's like +12 or something, fine, but very rarely it's going to be helpful to you. It's never really going to be helpful in a PvP, and it's too hard to get online, and by the time you have it online, you've probably already outgrown that joker. +1 hand size is strong, and hand size, this is why I've got Bean in Insta-Tech. I've got Bean higher. Hand size is one of the most important parts of Balatro. It just is. It allows you to do so much. It allows you to see more cards. It allows you to hold more cards. So if you have gold in your deck, it allows you to hold more gold. It allows you to hold more steel to get more scoring, and it allows you to see more. So it's so useful for finding the cards that you need to find, and that value generation. But it's only +1, and it is also a joker slot. So a joker slot just for a +1 hand size, for me, it is worse than its friend, +1 discard, because +1 discard allows you to get further in your deck. It just does. You get way further in your deck with another 5, seeing an extra 5 cards, than you do just having another hand size. And especially if you have a rebate with it, +1 discard is going to be more beneficial because it's going to create you money, and it's just more flexible. I think +1 hand size is nice, and it is very useful, and it is one of those where like they could be and just buy it. It's like if you have an empty joker slot, you probably do just buy it. Yeah, I've got it in okay, and I think I'm happy with that. Maybe just buy it is like should be called something different, because I feel like maybe credit card could be moved down, because these are jokers I would consider better than credit card. Credit card's just one of those things that you just have to buy if you see it, because if you have an empty joker slot, you might as well buy it because it sells for the same that it's worth. That's why credit card's so good. But yeah, I'll keep it as it is. I'm happy to keep it as it is. You're complete ass. You're never gonna be worth it. +25 chips for every stone card. It's just ass. I've got it below something that literally doesn't even exist in the game, and I'm gonna keep it there because you're never gonna want to buy a stone joker. You're never gonna want to buy a stone joker. It's just terrible, 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 terrible. Golden joker. Okay, very good. Golden joker's lovely. I like golden joker. It's better than these in my opinion. It's money, it's easy to use. Early on it can be very helpful to get that econ, to get above that interest cap. Just very useful joker. So yeah, golden joker, just buy it. Like, if you see a golden joker early, it's always worth it. It pays for itself. It's just good. Lucky cat. Now, I love Lucky Cat. Lucky Cat is one of my favorite jokers in standard Balatro. Is Lucky Cat good in PvP? Sometimes. Sometimes it is good in PvP. It is very specific because it relies, if you have loads of lucky cards plus you have retriggers, that's why it's good, and it can scale very quickly. But it's very specific, and I'll tell you why. Lucky Cat can be a hindrance to your game. If you get a Lucky Cat and you have a Chad and you have all these retriggers that allows for the Lucky Cat to scale quickly, you are going to beat the blinds too quickly with the Lucky Cat. You just are. It's too strong for those early rounds. So you're not going to be able to scale it properly, because if you get those lucky procs, it's just going to cause you to win. And it's also going to cost you money. Like, you're not going to find the rest of the cards you need in your deck, so it's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you value through purple seals, through all of that. And so a lot of the time Lucky Cat can actually be a hindrance. Now, Lucky Cat can also be very strong too. Like, you can easily scale in one PvP blind. You could scale a Lucky Cat up to maybe 2 or 3x if you have the right jokers. So that's why it's a specific use, because it can be very useful for that purpose, but it can cost you a lot of value. In normal Balatro, it is probably my favorite joker, and I love Lucky Cat. It's one of my favorite. It is probably my favorite joker in normal Balatro, but in PvP Balatro, it's just not, very, very rarely the needle mover, and can actually cost you. So that's why I've got it there. Baseball card, maybe meh. for baseball card. See, it feels backwards having like these types of jokers below all of these, because a lucky cat is obviously better than these jokers, but it's more like they have different purposes in the game, right? You're only taking a lucky cat because you're trying to win. You think the lucky cat is going to be the reason for you to win against a PvP player, whereas you're taking these because they're going to beat you in blinds. I'm going to move lucky cat up. I feel bad. I'm going to move you up to Met. It can be very useful, and it can be a difference maker, so I'm going to have it here, but be aware of the lucky cat is what I say. Baseball card I'm having next to it. There are a lot of good uncommons in Balatro, so a baseball card can actually be very good too. Say if you have a Dusk and you have an Idol, that's boom, that's 2 procs of a 1.5x. But ultimately, it's not going to be in your endgame build. It can be good to win some early PvPs if you have some uncommons, but it's just not, it's not great baseball card. Ball, complete ass. Chips, you need to keep money in order for it to work, and also you just want to be spending money. You don't want to be keeping enough money to be able to scale a bull. And so gold stake, normal Balatro bull is one of the strongest jokers, because you're incentivized to keep money, and that's fine, and all you're trying to do is beat blinds. But when you're trying to beat another player and score the most in a PvP, bull is not going to make that difference, I'm afraid. Cola is just buy it, similar to credit card. If you have an open joker slot, you can buy and sell it. Gives you a double tag. If you have an early investment tag or a rare tag, can be very useful to take a skip. So yeah, Cola, that's where I'm putting you. Trading card, let's try and get through some of these pretty quickly. Just buy it, similar. I'm having it worse than the egg, I think. The reason why I've got it worse than the egg, and trading card again, in standard Balatro, trading card is one of the best jokers. It's so OP to get that deck thinning plus making $3 for literally thinning your deck, which is a good thing, and you would like both of them. The reason why I've got it here is because it's too slow. So in multiplayer Balatro, you've only got so many rounds and so many blinds. It's too slow, and it also takes away a discard, and there's so many other reasons why you might need a discard to find other cards that are more valuable to make money off a faceless or off of a rebate. Trading card is great. It's deck thinning, it's money. If you have an open joker slot and you have none of these other value generators, it might be worth taking. But the reason why I'm not the biggest trading card fan is because it's a -1 discard practically, which ultimately means you can't get deeper in your deck, and you might be tempted to use it in a PvP round, which might then cost you the PvP, and it's actually hindered your game. Flash card, complete ass, similar to all these scaling jokers. Flash card, I'll go specific. Flash card's better than these because it relies on rerolls, and your chances are you're going to be rerolling a lot anyway. Its very specific use for flash card would be the fact that if you're playing gold stake, flash card can scale quick enough where it might be useful early, but ultimately it's very rarely going to be good. I think I've used flash card maybe once or twice in gold stake, but it's not good early game because you haven't re-rolled to scale it. It's not good late game because you're going to have found better jokers. It's only really good in that early to mid game where you might have re-rolled a couple of times and it can help you get through blinds. That's really it. Popcorn is a meh. I'm going to put it next to its food friend, ice cream. Just 20 more helps you get through early blinds. No more really to say. Spare trousers is complete ass. It's better than erosion, probably worse than the ball. Scalable, again, it's a gold stake joker. It's good in vanilla, normal Balatro because it's just permanent mult. But it's not going to be good in PvP for the same reason as all of these. Let's not repeat myself. Ancient joker is a goat. It just is. Maybe you have it in insta-take because it's a little less maneuverable than some of these other goats, but Ancient Joker is a goat. It's one of the best scoring options in PvP Balatro. In ranked specifically, there is no glass, there is no justice, so the glass is only worth 1.5. So glass is less powerful. Glass is the same powerful as Ancient, but can only be found in standard packs. So that means your X-Mult jokers like this are going to be incredibly sought after. Because of this, I'll go idol next, and yeah, idol is also a GOAT. I've got idol here above anything else, probably. I'll probably go, honestly, Dusk might be my number 1, because Dusk works with idol and ancient. Idol is draw and is deck dependent, draw dependent, etc. But it is a GOAT, and idol and ancient are probably, it's the strongest combo besides Baron and Mime, but it's a lot easier to find because you're an uncommon, you're an uncommon. There's a lot more that can make these work. So if you have an idol with a photograph and a Chad, it can work very well. If you have an ancient with a sock, it can work. There's more variance to what makes these things work, and that's why a lot of the times you'll be playing towards re-triggers than high card. But obviously the top end on Baron Mime with blueprints and brainstorms and hand size is incredibly high, but it's more common you're going to find these re-triggering lines. Ramen, meh. It is meh. Ramen is meh. It's 2x maximum. You're going to want to use your discard, so it very quickly dwindles down. But it can offer some quick scoring in the first PvP, and it could be a difference maker. Like if you have a ramen which is a 2x and your opponent didn't take the 2x because they didn't want to spend the $6 on it, it can win you a PvP immediately just like that. So it's not great, but it is meh. Walkie talkie, it's better than all this. I really like walkie talkie, especially early game, but I suppose it is just meh, isn't it? I'm putting it here. Strong early. It allows you to get out of your early blinds. Can actually win you an early PvP as well if you have a re-trigger with it. It's just strong scoring. So if you play like a flush house 10s and 4s first PvP, that is often better than the majority of your opponent's hands that they're going to find, because they're just passing on a walkie-talkie because it's not an amazing joker, but it can be the difference to winning or losing that first PvP. Seltzer is almost an insta-take. Maybe isn't. Like, Seltzer is so valuable. There's so many reasons why you instantly take about a Seltzer. Just like it's Dusk but better, but it lasts 10 hands. That's why a Seltzer is bad. Like, it is, re-triggering is so important, as I've already mentioned. It re-triggers every card. It can make you money. If you have lucky cards, it will make you money. If you have gold seals, it will make you money. If you have a gold card with golden ticket, it will make you money. The reason why it's not a GOAT, and it should, and it is very likely to end up in your endgame build if you find it, but it's perishable. So it very quickly dies, and therefore it has to show up at the correct time. Like, you don't want to be taking a Seltzer in the first shop after a PvP blind, because you have to preserve it, and then it can cost you value. But you might have to as well. Like, if you have Ancient Joker or an Idol and you see a Seltzer, like, you might have to take it just because of how much scoring it's going to offer, but it can then cost you value. So that's why it's not a GOAT, but I have got it in insta take just because it is extremely valuable. Castle, ass. Very specific use. I'll go for Castle. Very specific use. Like, luckily for Castle, it's a joker where it doesn't cost money. So with like these other scaling things, these cost you money because they're using either hands, or you're having to go into packs, or you're having to convert fucking special cards. Like, at least with a Castle, all it's using is discards. So it doesn't cost you money, but it isn't an incredible joker for scoring, and chances are it's not going to move the needle. Smiley face, Roran. Oh, it's meh. It's very good meh. I'll stick it next to its friend Scary Face. It's good. Like, it's one of the better standard malt jokers. You want to be working towards face cards anyway, as I always mention. And so it's it's toggleable as well, because it only triggers when you're playing those face cards, so it allows you to get deep in your deck when you want to. So yeah, it's a good joker. It's useful, and it's good scoring, and very likely if you find a smiley face, there's a high chance it's going to be in that first build buy that first PvP. Campfire, very specific use. It's very good and it scales real quickly if you've got a bunch of money. So if you have that open Joker slot and you can cycle through Jokers, or if you have an open tarot slot in and you can cycle through tarot cards, great. And it can result in very high X-mult by the time that you've reached PvP, and it can be very good. But it is exactly that. It's very good for that specific purpose. So by the time that, if you find it early and you have very good in econ gen, great. Other than that, it's very difficult to use, and also can cost you a lot of money. It can cost you rerolls because you're having to buy lots of things in the shop just to sell them. Golden ticket, and this is new golden ticket. It's insta-take for sure. Golden ticket, superposition over lucky cat is insane. They do different things, so I've got it as different purposes, you know. Like, superposition isn't a better Joker than lucky cat because lucky cat can be incredible scoring, but a superposition can offer one early tarot that can win you a game. I think it's very rare that a lucky cat wins you a game, whereas a superposition, if you get a couple of tarots in the big blind, like, that is possibly game winning. I think they offer different purposes. I think you're only taking a lucky cat because you're trying to win the match with it. You're trying to win a game with a lucky cat, but I think it's rare that a lucky cat does that, you know. Sock is, I think it's difficult to not say it's a GOAT, but I'll put it in insta-take for the starters because it's not 100% of the time in your final Joker slot is it a sock, because if you're in a hack build it's not going to be useful, whereas a Dusk and a Seltzer, a sock, like, those both things are going to be useful in a hack build. So I'll have it in insta-take. I'll have it next to photograph. Like, it works with ancient, it works with idol. Like, for the top scoring options, you need those re-triggers, so sock is obviously brilliant. Swash, meh, I guess it goes here. It's just exactly that, it's meh. Trooby Dooby, okay, I think that's the okay because it's useful. Like, hand size is very useful. If you're playing high card, Troubadour is brilliant. There's downsides to Troubadour. There's a lot of downsides to Troubadour because it takes away a hand, and that's money. It takes away money. It also takes away the ability to get further in your deck. It replaces that one hand with two hand size, and so you do get deeper if you don't have it. You do get deeper in your deck. So if you have like a 50 card deck, Troubadour might be the reason why you don't find the cards you need to win a PvP. But it is very useful. Maybe here, like, there's more chance of a Troubadour being in an endgame build if you're playing high card than these guys, obviously. But I think the discard early game is very useful, especially have a rebate, etc. So yeah, okay, I think that is fine for it. Certificate, just buy it, I think, especially early game. Like, obviously late game with the certificate, you've probably already got the cards that you're building towards and it's pointless, but it's so good. Certificate, it can offer you so much value early game. If you find it within the first ante or two, it can be the difference to winning or losing. Like, if you find the correct red seal, or you find a purple seal that gives you loads of deaths, certificate can literally win or lose you the game if you don't take it. And I'm probably gonna have it maybe here, just below Midas Mask. I think it's so, I mean, it could even be, yeah, it could even be insta-take. Yeah, insta-take is like, I think that's fair actually. I think it is insta-take. I think I'd rather have a Sixth Sense than a certificate, but yeah, I think it is insta-take. Maybe golden ticket above it, so like this probably, because the amount of value you can get from cards that certificate is going to provide, like, it's so good. Smeared, but it's the definition of very specific use, isn't it? Smeared, probably below Campfire because the amount of scoring a Campfire can provide is very good. I probably would have it above Card Shop Smeared, because Smeared is one of those Jokers where if you have an Ancient, it might be game winning having a Smeared, because if it hits, you're built into Hearts and it hits Diamonds, then boom, your Ancient still works. But it takes up a Joker slot, which is valuable. Like, Joker slots are so valuable. It also can provide value in that, like, you're playing flushes, you're playing you need to play a flush to get a gold seal in a hand so that you can still play it, etc, etc. Like, smeared is useful, and also with idle as well. Like, if you get an off hit, which is the wrong suit that you're built into, like, it can be useful, but very specifically it's useful. Throwback, that is throwback, right? Complete ass, to be honest. It's better than Constellation. I'll take that. I will tell you now, Constellation I have a big fucking hatred for. I think it's terrible. It's not as good as Hologram. It is ass. All of these X-Mult scale Jokers aren't very good. They're just not. They're not suitable to this format. They take too much time to be good. They've got, like, skipping. Like, the value of missing a shop is so much. Like, if you miss a shop just for the sake of scaling this, it's too much value lost, and it could lose you the game if there's a better Joker there. Chad is insta-take for sure. I probably have it. It's probably above Photograph. It's close between the two. Chad, so many reasons why it's good. It's an amazing scoring. This is the perfect combo, so I suppose it has to go next to each other, right? Photo and Chad, they have to go next to each other. Chad is nerfed in ranked, so it's only the first 2 cards are re-triggered twice, rather than the first card is re-triggered 3 times. So it is slightly nerfed, but still re-triggers. Works well with all of these re-triggering Jokers, and it can give you money. Like, if you have lucky cards, if you have gold seals, like, the amount of money and value a Chad can offer is just incredible. So yeah, has to be an insta take. Rough Gem is a just buy it, I think. If you've got that open Joker slot and it's early on, you do just buy it. Like, it's quite expensive. It's more like $7, right, as for an Econ Joker. But after, if you're going into the big blind, you can make your money back on it immediately. Like, you can get 1 diamond flush out, and then if you can try and get a few, like, pairs or 2 pairs with the rest of the diamonds involved, it will pay for itself, and then after that it's just pure profit. So it's definitely a insta take, and I'll keep trading card above it because trading card deck thinning is great, but it's very good. And mixing a Chad with that, it's just loads of money. It's loads of money. Bloodstone, complete ass. I'm joking. I have a vendetta against Bloodstone because the amount of times it's cost me games is unreal, but it's an insta take. It just is. Like, especially if you have these other Jokers. Like, maybe it's just buy it. It's the thing with Bloodstone is it's buffed in ranked, the ranked rule set, because there's no justice and because glass is worth less. I think it's an insta take because if you get a dice alongside it, obviously that is just incredible scoring. Even without the dice, it's still very good scoring, and it's rare that you get seeds that results in a better Joker than Bloodstone filling that slot. Like, there are situations where you can skip a Bloodstone. There 100% is, and that's why I'm tempted to have it in just buy it rather than insta take, because there's situations where maybe you're low on money and a Bloodstone, like, it's not improving your score that much because you don't have the utilities to go alongside it. Like, without the re-triggers, a Bloodstone's terrible. But so I will have it in just buy it, but I'll have it at the top of just buy it because it takes other things to make it good, but ultimately it has the ability to be in your endgame build. It 100% does. And here is dice to go alongside it, and I'm having that next to it as well. Just buy it. I love dice. It offers so much value. Combined with the Bloodstone, it's a lot of scoring. Combined with the hallucination, it's 2 tarots per round. Combined with an 8-ball and Chad, it's loads of tarots. Like, it just does so much. Dice is just so much value. Like, with lucky cards, it gives you so much money. It allows you to get out of, like, a golden ticket, for example, if you have a dice. But on the off chance, like, you might, like, if you're going for lucky cards instead of gold cards, you might be able to just skip on a golden ticket with a dice because you're hoping for that Bloodstone. So yeah, for me, dice, very, very useful Joker, and it just offers so much utility and makes other Jokers around it better, and that's what I like about it. It makes your Chad better, it makes your lucky cards better, it makes your hallucination, your 8-ball, it makes all of these Jokers better. So that's why I think dice is great. Arrowhead, meh. but it's like very good meh. Maybe like just below walkie-talkie. It can be great scoring early. It's very good for plasma, but it is just a chips joker at the end of the day, and it will be usurped by your other X-Malt jokers. It just will. Onyx Agate, I'm going to put next to it. I actually think Onyx Agate is better. I think that's probably better than Walkie Talkie as well. I think Onyx Agate is very, very strong. It might actually, you know what? Onyx Agate goes above. It goes alongside these guys. It goes alongside your smiley faces, your raised fists. Onyx Agate is strong. +7 malt for every club you play. Like if you mix in re-triggers there, like it's a lot of scoring on Onyx Agate, and can often easily win you early PvPs if you can get that flush house. Glass Joker. It's got to be complete ass, hasn't it? I like it, and it can be good, but glass is so rare in PvP anyway. I mean, I'll pull it up because there is a very specific use for it. A very specific use for it is if you get lucky to find glass and then it breaks. It scales quickly, but very, 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 very low chance of getting enough glass for a glass joker to ever be worth it. Like glass joker is of course better in other rule sets, but in the ranked rule set where glass is 1 nerfed because it's 1.5x, and 2 it's only found in standard packs, very specific use, I think is kind. Showman, I'm gonna have it in just buy it. I think Showman is very strong, and it won me a game today actually. I just played like a really sick game where I ended up with 3 mimes because of a Showman, and I won high card against this guy who obviously hadn't taken the Showman. It's not good if you don't have good jokers or good tarots and things, obviously, because it can hinder it. Like if you have 5 bad jokers, the Showman might show you those 5 bad jokers again, which is a negative. But if you find one photo Chad, like if you have photo and Chad and you find a Showman, like boom, you can win the game just off of that. So yeah, Showman extremely strong. Flower Pot, meh. I think 3x is 3x, and you can't sniff at 3x, as I always say. But again, it's very, like, it might even be very specific use. I think it might be very specific use Flower Pot. Like, Flower Pot can be strong. First PvP, Flower Pot is often the best joker. If you see it earlier, Flower Pot, like, it can be often the very best joker, and can win you a PvP. Like, if you can get away with, like, if you get strength off, you might be able to pull off a 5 other kind Flower Pot, and that might win you the PvP. But those are exactly very specific times where a Flower Pot is going to be good. Like, a lot of the time it's not. So very specific use, but maybe just below the campfire is fair for Flower Pot, because I have won a lot of first PvPs with it. Blueprint speaks for itself. The GOAT, the best joker in the game. Being able to copy your second best joker is incredible. Obviously, there is a downside to Blueprint in that it is only as good as your second best joker, but it's just it makes everything better. Like, you have two rebates with it. You have 2 ancients with it. You have 2 idols with it. You have 2 barons and mimes with it. Like, it's so strong, and it's always, if you find a Blueprint, you're never selling it. You're never selling it. Wii Joker, very specific use, and that very specific use is the one plasma game where you get a red seal 2 in the first standard pack. Other than that, it's probably complete ass. I think having it in very specific use is even, like, very kind, because it's a chips joker, and chips jokers very rarely make the difference. On plasma, it might win you a couple of PvPs, but ultimately it's by far the worst rare out of 4 PvP Balatro, 4 ranked PvP Balatro specifically. And yeah, just ignore it most of the time. Just ignore it. Merry Andy, okay, I'm having it here. I think it's the best out of the jokers that gives you your discards and things, apart from Bean. Bean, I think, is better because the amount of hand size it gives is incredible. But Merry Andy, you have to think about it. You do have to think about it, like, because you're losing that hand size, and hand size is crucial. But it allows you to get so far in your deck. It's great for purples. It's great for rebate. It allows you to find the cards that you're looking for. It allows you to find your best hand because you can dig further in your deck. It's just very useful, Merry Andy, and if you can combine that with a hand-sized Joker, then it's even better. Seeing double, meh. I think it's better than Steel Joker, probably worse than Ramen. Like, again, it's very much a first PvP type Joker. 2x, it's fine. It's not gonna move the needle that much, but if you play like a full house and it's the best you can muster in that first PvP, then 2x is 2x, you know. Hit the Road, okay, I'm having it above Obelisk any day because Obelisk can suck my dick. Hit the Road is great. I like Hit the Road. It's something to think about. It's scalable XMO. It's very much likely that you're going to build into Jacks regardless, because you want to build into the face cards for all these different reasons, and it's the easiest face card to build into because it's a Jack. So if you find a Red Seal 10, you just need to strength it up once to make it into that face card. So you'll often build into Jacks regardless, and then if you can get all those deaths off on these Jacks, it's just going to make the Hit the Road really useful. And you know, you might be able to get easily 2.5 3x off on a Hit the Road if you have the right deck for it. So it's yeah, okay, it's not as good as Loyalty Card, because Loyalty Card, if you just play into Loyalty Card right, chances are you're not going to scale a Hit the Road as high as you are a Loyalty Card, unless you've got like the most insanely weird deck going. But it can be very useful, especially for the early PvPs. Duo, meh, it's 2x. Very rarely 2x is going to be the difference. Yeah, just put it there, but it's 2x is 2x. 3x is better, probably still meh. No, 3x is 3x here, I think, probably just above the blackboard, because you are often playing towards those 5 of a kinds, flush 5s, flush houses, and this is just better than blackboard for that reason, because you don't need to then rely on getting blackboard with the black cards in your hand. Family, it's 4x instead of 3x. It's bad because it doesn't qualify with flush houses. That's why family is difficult, but it is better than the trio because it is 4x instead of 3x. And if you are playing towards flush 5s, then it is just 4x. You can go in very specific use, because the chances of you playing straights are very low. There are very certain specific uses, as I've said, where straights are the best thing to play, but chances are you're going to be playing into 4 of a kinds, 5 of a kinds, flush 5s, flush houses. Like, straights are just not good enough. And flush, I'll have it above the straights, but again, 2x for a flush is just not that good scoring. It's just not. So chances are, if you are in a position where you found this Joker and then you're going into a first PvP and you have a flush house, then you just take it, because for that reason it's just 2x on top of your score for free. But it's not going to make it into an endgame build ever, really. Stuntman, again, it just goes alongside them. Like, Stuntman can be great when you're talking about Plasma early game. You just win immediately. Like, it gives you incredible amounts of chips. Even a first PvP, you're not on Plasma, the amount of chips it can give you is very, very good. But it's not going to end up in an endgame build, and the scoring, it limits your ceiling. It takes away that hand size, which I've spoke about loads of times, is so important. Invis is an insta take, and maybe have it above Photo and Shad, but not above Sock, probably. Maybe above Sock. It's one of those Jokers you can't pass an Invis. You just can't pass an Invis, because when you sell it, once it's ready, there's a chance you can sell out of your bad Jokers, and then it's going to make a copy of your best Joker if you can sell out of it. Invis is just so strong. You can't pass it. It's the only reason why it's not in the GOATs is because it doesn't do anything, and it's only as good as your best Joker. And if you find an Invis super late, then you literally can't take it, because you've got a boss blind coming up. Like, you might be going into the last PvP and it'll literally do nothing. It also might, like, if you have a rebate and a blueprint, you don't really want to sell out of the rebate in order to pop an Invis. Like, you have to hold an Invis in your Joker slot until the next best thing comes along, and then you have to sell out of all your value generation in order to copy your best card. It's insta take. It's obviously, you can't pass an Invis, but It's only as good as your best Joker, and then there's certain situations where you can't take it, you know. That's why it's there. Brainstorm, self-explanatory, goes next to your blueprint. It's not as good as blueprint because blueprint's a little bit easier to manage with the way you're placing it, but copy Jokers are OP and are the best Jokers in the game. Satellite can go next to the Moon. It's probably a little bit better than To the Moon because the scalability on a satellite's a tiny bit better, but ultimately you're going to find better value generation than a satellite. You're going to find better econ generation than a satellite. Shoot the Moon. Okay. Have it probably here. Shoot the Moon is very good. It can set up your high card build. It's good early game scoring for getting out of blinds. Yeah, Shoot the Moon is useful. But chances are it's not going to end up in an end game build unless you're in super high stakes and you don't find anything better in your high card build to replace it. But it's good scoring and you can't really go wrong with that. Driver's license. It is very specific because you need all the cards in your deck for it to work. But I'll have it in okay, and I'll have it maybe just below Blackboard because it's quite easy to get a driver's license online, especially on low stakes. You do have a lot of value in your deck to be able to in the game, like you will be able to get the lucky cards going, you'll get the deaths going, and you will be able to get it online by the end of the game. You should be able to anyway, especially on low stakes. High stakes it's more difficult to get it online, and it is often a pass. Like you will pass on a driver's license early, but have it in okay. 3x is 3x. It's not as good as your acrobats because it won't work unless you have the 15 enhanced cards in your deck, but it can be useful, so I've got it there. Cardo is just buy it, similar to these other value generation cards. Maybe have it just below Faceless. It's a just buy it. It's very, very good. A tarot around is good. If you have a blueprint, it's 2 tarots around. Yeah, just buy it. If you've got an open slot, there's no reason not to buy it. Astronomer, very specific. It's very rare that your astronomer will be useful. Because it just $8 is so expensive for an astronomer. I guess the only time I really would ever take an astronomer is it's the card in shop, so you can buy it, and then there's 2 celestials that you were planning on buying regardless, so it makes those celestials free, so it's technically profit, and then you can keep the astronomer for maybe the next round. It's technically econ gen because you can buy and sell the planet cards out of the shop. But for $8 that it costs to buy an astronomer, and it takes up a Joker slot, very rarely you're gonna want to use it. Burnt Joker, it can go right next to astronomer. They look alike and they fit alike. Burnt Joker, good. You know what? I'll make Burnt Joker higher. Burnt Joker, if you're playing high card and you get a Burnt Joker early, and you can just improve your high card level, then it can turn out great. Like you can improve your high cards, you can improve your pairs, and it's going to improve your score in the long term if you end up going into a high card build. But a lot of the time you're playing toward these 5 card hands, you're just not able to discard a flush 5 for Burnt Joker value. You're just not. So I will have it in very specific use, but there are times where a Boot Joker is valuable. Bootstraps, complete ass. You need to have money just for standard plus mult. Just not good. Just like all these guys, you're going to want to roll, and therefore by the time that you have enough money where a Bootstraps is even doing anything, you probably 1 got better Jokers, and 2 you don't want to be deterred from rolling to find a better Joker. And now we're on to the legendary. So Chico can obviously come down here because it doesn't exist. So Chico does not exist in PvP Balatro. So we've got Canio, Trib, Yorick, Perkeo. Starting off with Canio, it's okay. Canio is okay. If you destroy face cards, it increases by an X mult each time you destroy one. So it can very quickly be very good, Canio. The problem is you're not often wanting to destroy face cards. And also, flat X mult again, just like all these other Jokers, is very rarely like the answer. You know, flat X mult is very rarely ever going to get you into the end game Joker slots. So it's here. If you get an immolate with it, boom, you can get a 3x Joker just like that. If you get 2 Hangman, that's a 4x Joker. It's okay. It's good. Like, it is good. Just buy it. Like, it's obviously just buy it because it's a soul, so you do just take it. But you may sell a Canio before those guys. And I think the tier list, like maybe the tiers I've done aren't great because just buy it. I've got a lot of this value generation stuff in there, but it's okay. It's an okay scoring option. Trib is obviously a GOAT. Trib is like an idol but better. Very rarely you'll find a Trib. That's the why it's like often you'll build into towards an idol, but Trib, every king or queen that's played is at 2x. Obviously it's a GOAT. Obviously it's a GOAT. And Yorick, obviously it doesn't make sense to have it and just buy it, but I'll have it and just buy it, and it's good. Yorick scales, and it's in a way where if you discard enough, like 23, is it? Something like that, then it increases by 1x. It's a bit better than Canio because it doesn't rely on you having to destroy face cards. That's really it. Yorick, it scales slowly, but if you have the discard vouchers, then you can scale it, and it can get to a very useful Joker by the time that you get later in the antes. But again, very rarely, like once you get late game on, especially on lower stakes, you're going to find things better than Yorick. Yorick is stronger on high stakes, so is Caneo, so is Driver's License. All these X-Malt Jokers are stronger on higher stakes, but yeah, it's just buy it, it's good, but ultimately very rarely is it going to be in your endgame build, in my opinion. And Pokeo is a GOAT as well. You have to take Pokeo. Maybe it's insta-take. Maybe it's insta-take because it doesn't score, so it's not in your end game. But neither does Rebate. So it has to be in GOATs. It has to be in GOATs. And I'll have it in this order as well. So Blueprint, followed by Brainstorm, followed by Trib, followed by Dusk, followed by Idol, followed by Mime, followed by Baron, followed by Ancient, followed by Pokeo, followed by Rebate. I think that is accurate. Those are the GOATs. This is the best Econ Joker. Pokeo is also an Econ Joker. It's also a deck fixer. Like Pokeo mixed with a Blueprint, mixed with a Copy Joker is even better. You can build up all those. Like if you find a Blueprint with it, you can build up the bloody cryptids, and you can go red seal steals, and you can go to the moon with that sort of scoring. You can also use a Pokeo to build up deaths, and then you can deck fix for an idol. You can also use Pokeo to do hermits, and therefore you've got econ gen. Just what a Pokeo offers you is too strong. And so yeah, this is my finished tier list. Obviously, as Proy has done, as other people have done in the chat, feel free to leave a comment telling me how wrong I am. I like, maybe Lucky Cat deserves more recognition, maybe Loyalty Card deserves more recognition. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know where I'm wrong. But yeah, this is my complete Balatro Joker tier list for PvP ranked multiplayer. Thank you so much for watching.